All right, so I think the most important place for us to start is with a bit of theory. Now, I could hear that one absolute dumbass right now. Chu, you don't need music theory to make... I'm not trying to hear all that right now, bro. I'm going to explain the bare bones of music theory that I use to make basically all my melodies. It's not no deep Beethoven, Mozart type stuff. If you don't want to learn it, get out of here, bro, because I ain't trying to hear all that, bro. You're scaring the hoes, all right? For the intelligent people that are left, scales are a musical kind of code system, and then you use scales to create chords. The most basic type of chord is a triad. So for simplicity, this is a C minor scale. I'm not gonna really talk you through how to build it. I'm not really gonna talk you through how to even build the triads, right? Because you can Google all of that. That's pretty simple stuff. It's not too complex. There's gonna be 7 notes in a scale, and then there's gonna be 7 chords that you can build out of every scale, every simple scale. That's not how it works for all the scales. I can also hear that one nerd that's like, well, actually, if you're talking about pentatonic, I don't care, bro. All right, this is my video. I'm gonna talk you through how I do it. If you want to learn how someone else does it, go watch Beethoven's YouTube channel. All right, shut up. Anyways, this is how you build C minor scale, right? And these are all the chords in the C minor scale. You can see this is the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 7 chord. The 1 chord is built by starting with that 1 first note in the scale. 2 chord is built by starting with the 2nd note in the scale. So when you get to a place like 7, this is basically how it would actually be built, but then you use a concept called chord voicing or chord inversion to basically move those notes down so that they're still in the same kind of hand positioning for the rest of the chords that you have going on. It's really related off of the first 2 to 3 chords in the scale. Again, you can basically just copy that. You can use MIDI helpers to build these out. You can Google it. It's not a very complex concept. The thing that people can't grasp from this point is how to actually make good melodies. And that's what I want to talk to you about. It's called Lego theory. I prefer this to music theory because it really helps you understand the point of all of these codes and stuff. You can think of the scale itself as like a mini instruction manual for the Lego playset that you're trying to make, right? Then the notes in the scale are like the really small Lego pieces, like the really tiny pieces. The chords are slightly more complex pieces, like made of multiple tiny pieces, but they're still very simple compared to what you can make overall. And then the chord progressions are like the actual piece that you're trying to make, the base of the like starfighter that you're trying to make, or the castle that you're trying to build. And then when you get into concepts like motif, harmony, counter melody, those on top of your chord progression make the entire like playset that you're actually trying to create. That being said, you can basically take any of these chords as long as they're in the same scale and put them together to make the base of your playset. Another thing I want to say is I do not care about the scale helpers in FL Studio, bro. That's not going to help you with the concept that I'm talking about. Just putting notes together that are in scale doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make a good melody, which is why I like Lego theory, because it takes you that extra step of actually using chords to put together melodies. Because I could hear that one guy now. You can also use the scale helpers. You can also use the note highlighters. Bro, shut up. That doesn't help anybody do anything, okay? It's 2025. Stop commenting stuff like that. Stop saying stuff like that. Ain't nobody trying to hear no nonsense like that, all right? Cut it out. Cut it out. Anyway, based off of our Lego theory, we can do a bunch of different things, right? Something that's important to understand is that you can actually build a lot of melodies just off of 1 chord. So like, that's the 1 chord in the C minor scale, right? If I were to click that into FL keys instead of playing it, you would see that it follows that 1 chord. 1, boom. That's the 1 chord right there, right? That's what I'm playing. It just has a bass note as well. Right? A lot of dark melodies are built off of that chord and kind of using dissonance and harmonic tension to basically make a more interesting melody, and we will get to that concept in just a bit. But important to understand that just 1 chord will get you pretty far. Then you can start to do things like put chords together. So this is the 1, 6, 7 with some harmonic tension, right? And that's a very common chord progression, or a very common combination of chords. You know, some combination of 1, 6, 7 is going to give you a lot of the common, you know, trap chord progressions, pop chord progressions. Another thing to understand is that like 95% of all melodies in like hip hop, pop, R&B, country are made from like triads in the minor natural and major natural scales. So it's like, if you understand this basic concept and then you take what I'm talking about in the minor scale and apply it to the major scale, you have a really firm grasp on how to make melodies that sound really good and competent. So another way that you could put that together is you could go 6, 7, 1. So if we were to click that in, we just go 6, boom, boom, boom. That's the 6. And then we go 7. But we're going to add that harmonic tension to that 7 like we did before, and then 1. Right? You're starting to see how this Lego theory basically allows you to make very, very loud cars out there, bro. Crazy. But you're seeing how this Lego theory allows you to put like actual competent melodies together without really having to overthink it. And once you begin to get a firm grasp on things, you can lay down chord progressions that help you express ideas in your mind, so you can move from that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just fumbling around trying to make a chord, and get more close to the idea that you're actually hearing in your head. You can get from idea in your head to actuality or reality. You can get from dream to reality type shit. You know what I'm saying?